everybody. Good evening. This is Joyce from Beau Creations. I hope everybody's having a wonderful evening. Just coming back from Stamp and Scrapbook Expo this weekend. Had a fabulous time there. Just really recommend attending if it comes to your town, because it was a really good event. All right, so tonight we are going to do our ATC reveal. Hi, TJ. Hello, Diana. Lindsay says, watching from the clouds today. I think I'm over Louisiana. Lindsay, mwah, 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 mwah. I enjoyed meeting you this weekend. It was so nice to finally put a face with a name. Now I know exactly who I'm looking at when I'm talking to you. That is so awesome. Hello, Ann Hassan. I got what you needed, and your invoice is in your mailbox. All right, Bethany's here. TJ says, BoQ live, hashtag. Hi, Bobby. How are you? Hello there. Hello. Bethany's here. Hello, Bethany. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Today is also St. Patrick's Day. So I guess we are the most unlucky non-Irish people in the world, because we had corned beef and cabbage yesterday, because I'm not going to be home this evening to have it. So yeah, so corned beef and cabbage, but I'm not really Irish, so I guess it doesn't mean anything. I don't know. But for all of our Irish friends, happy St. Patrick's Day. All right. Bethany says, hello, everybody. Don't forget to put hashtag BoQ live in the comments box, because you will be eligible for a prize at the end of this broadcast. So I'm really super excited about that. All right, let's see. I am trying to make sure I have everybody here. Show the comments on the stage. Yes, I want to see those. Okay, so tonight we have a lot of... Oh, okay, Ann, I'll take care of it. Sorry, I just saw that. Okay, so tonight we have a lot to cover. Diana Noggle has asked me to please show how to use your pan pastels. So I do have a really good broadcast for that tonight. So if you are wondering, good evening, Joanne and Christy. So if you've been wondering how to use your chalks, or what they're for, or what best practices are, stay tuned after the ATC reveal, and we will show you how to do that. That's going to be a lot of fun. So our live may be a little bit longer tonight, because we have those ATC cards to reveal from our swap. So I can get those out in the mail to you guys. Couple announcements. I have 4 seats left for the evening class of the resin sea turtle, the resin sea glass painting. I have 4 seats left. So if you are wanting to attend that, you need to register ASAP. We are completely full on the Saturday class. So hi, Terry, how are you? So I need you guys to register. We have 4 seats left for that one. If you have not registered for our 6th anniversary retreat, oh my goodness, have we got some surprises for you. Good evening, Eva Taylor. It's like this big. I can't hardly see it. Eva Taylor and Michelle Richardson. Michelle, are you going to be able to make it this year for our retreat? I hope so. So if you are wanting to attend our 6th anniversary retreat, it is May 15, 16, 17. We are filling up. So I just want to let you know, we've gotten goodies from Eyelet Outlet, Elizabeth Craft Designs, and many more. I can't wait. This is going to be the best celebration ever. So if you have not registered for that and you want to go, please go ahead and put your deposit down. $100 saves your seat, and the remaining $155 can be paid by the due date. So $100 saves your seat. It is a non-refundable reservation. I can't think of the words tonight. So go ahead and sign up for that. Also, let me see, what else do I have? I can't remember. I'm sure I'll get to it. But anyway, Diana Noggle has asked me to show, please, how to use pan pastels. So please stay tuned after the ATC reveal for that live part of the broadcast. Okay. So we had an ATC swap, and there were several of you that participated. I'm trying to convince hubby to splurge on the retreat for me as an anniversary gift. Oh, Christy, tell him you're going to have so much fun. All right. So let me see here. I've been putting all of the ATCs in a bin down here to make sure none of them get lost. I have ones from Jennifer Glidden. I have one from Leanne Ricks. I have ones from Pat Johnson. I have ones from Diana Noggle. Ooh, my team was on it this month. I have some from Aixa. That was her very first time ever doing ATC, so I can't wait to see that. Hello, Cindy. How are you? And Puma 5. I'm sorry, I don't know who that is, but your hashtag is incorrect. It's BeauQ Live. Okay, so make sure you change that because you want to be in on the drawing. And Michelle, no spaces, BeauQ Live, all one word, hashtag BeauQ Live. It is looking for those very specific words. So please go ahead and change that. It's going down the bottom, hashtag BeauQ Live in the comment section. We've got it going along the banner there to make sure that you guys can get it, okay? Because it's looking for those words. I have an ATC swap from I don't know who until I open it, and from Kristen Root and Diane Enlow. So it's going to be fun to see all of our ATCs. All right. So the first package I have here is from Jennifer Glidden. So let me turn my camera down so that you guys can see what I'm seeing. Let's just go here, custom layout. There we go. All right. Here we are. Woohoo! All right, let me get us back on the big screen so I can see. There we go. Oh, let me get my verse fine out of there. All right, so Jennifer Glidden sends us good tidings. And let's see. Oh, my goodness. She used our BeauQ library paper. Oh, I can't wait to show you these. It looks like all of them are different. There we go. Oh, hang tight for a second. Let me show you guys something. I know it's a day late and $1 short, but let me get these for you. Okay. We have 2 left. These are the ATC stamps, artist trading card stamps that you stamp the back of your card with so that you can put the author, the date, all of that fun stuff. So we have 2 of these left in stock, $16.99. If you want them, you need to say add to cart so that we can make sure that you get them. But these are to stamp the back of your ATC cards so we know who they came from. So these are a fun way to identify your ATCs. So if you want one, add to cart. Cindy's like, I'm claiming one. There we go. We have 1 left. Cindy's like, mine. All right. So let's look at Jennifer's ATCs. Christy said, add to cart. Got it. They're both gone. Okay, perfect. So Jennifer used, first of all, she rounded the corners, which I love. You don't have to. But these ATCs are 2.5 by 3.5, which makes them about the same size as a playing card. And she has put a little bit of texture on there with a stencil and some paste. She's put a cute little flower with some bling on it. She did some splatter, just layered some washi tape. And then the background here is the same color as the basket weave of our BeauQ Cherished Chapters paper. So that is card number 1 for Jennifer Glidden. This one says, too many books. I think what you mean is not enough bookshelves. That's kind of cute. She used washi tape, again, with our Cherished Chapters paper and a little bit of texture and some stamping. No rules on the ATC, guys. These are absolutely gorgeous. Okay. She also, on this one, put a little bit of lace. Look at that. I love that. A paper clip, so you can actually, you know, reuse this one if you want. You take off your paper clip and you've got that. So this is like the gift that keeps on giving. How cute is that? Again, with the texture, just rip some of that paper to layer on it. I love, love, love. Hello, Helen. How are you? Good evening. Really cute. This washi tape actually looks like a film strip. I love that. All right. Oops, we've already seen that. On this one again, she's got a little bit of gold glitter ribbon. She's put some texture on here. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's like a sparkly stenciled texture. Again, with the washi tape, so she kept the theme consistent throughout all of the cards with the same colors, same type of paper, paper clips. Love it. And she used the Beau Cherished Chapters paper. Love that. That was not a requirement, but that's what Jennifer chose to do. Love, love, love this one. She said she loved that stack of books right here. And so again, with the washi tape, splatter, paper clips, and some raised detail there. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Love them. Jennifer, these were amazing. Thank you so very much. ATC cards, guys. If you did a swap with us, you will be most likely receiving one of Jennifer's in your package back. So beautiful job, Jennifer Glidden. Thank you so very much. All right, next up. Oh, there was two down here in the bottom. I believe these were Aixa. I'm not sure where that came from. I'll have to see. I think this one was from Kristen Root. So Kristen, if you're on, let me know. All right. Sorry, guys. My throat is hoarse. All right. Next up is Pat Johnson. And Pat chose lots of layers. Glad to see you live. It's 11:15 there. Oh, Helen, thank you so much for watching us. So Pat has layered at least 3 stacks of layers. This looks like a gift. See that tiny little piece of ribbon that she did on there? A book is a dream you hold in your hand. Look how much detail and layer is on this one. I love it. She chose not to round the corners, which is perfectly okay. I love that they also chose our Cherished Chapters paper, of course, because I'm a little partial to that. But, you know, there you go. How beautiful is that? This one looks like a stack of gifts. I love that. And then, of course, on the back, you're supposed to write your name or stamp it with a beautiful stamp, but I don't think that Pat had one. Again, keeping it consistent with the layers, layers, layers. A book is a dream. She's got some flowers and some books from the Cherished Chapters collection. Again, there are 3 layers popped up, and I love that little ribbon right there. It's so cute. Friends are flowers in the garden of life. Look how she made those flowers look like a garden. She's popped up layer after layer. I love the texture on that. I love the fact that she has layered and put some gems. Come on, camera. I need you to look at the camera. It doesn't want to zoom. You know, technology, it does what it wants to do. All right. Here again, I love the ribbon on the corner. So many books, so little time. Look at that gorgeous stack right here on top of the background. Love that. Oh, Pat Johnson. They are so pretty. Love, love, love your ATCs, Pat. Thank you so much. All right. So that is Pat Johnson, you guys, also a member of our design team. Beautiful contribution. Okay. Next up, we have Aixa. Aixa is new to our group, and we are so happy to have her. And she decided that she was going to give ATCs a try. She has never done them before, but I absolutely think that she nailed it. And again, Aixa decided to use the library or book theme. So I love, love, love. I wanted to show this one first. So you notice in the background, she stamped the piece of paper. She used the Cherished Chapters book stack and fussy cut them, tore some paper right there, put a little button sticker, and then cut out from a magazine or newspaper or something that says, "A happy place to be." Look how beautiful that is. Now, I don't know about you guys, but for a first timer, I think that turned out beautifully. Great job, Aixa. Okay, on this one, she had a little play on words, from the library of, and then you could put your name on it. She fussy cutted some Cherished Chapters pieces, put it on a background of Cherished Chapters, and then colored her book in flowers. Love it. And then it's stamped with "from the library of." Beautiful, beautiful. Excellent job. I second that motion, Christy. For somebody who this was their very first time, I'm not sure that she's telling us the truth. I think she's done these before. Hear the music. She created a little background right here. She rounded the corners a little differently. They're not exactly rounded like you would normally see them, but I'm trying to get the camera to focus so you guys can see. Camera, please agree. She's got some books here on the bookshelf with a beautiful plant. There you go. She's got a little bit of music ripped behind the "Hear the Music." Love, love, love these, Aixa. Great job. I'm loving this one right here. This is probably one of my favorites because she's got the background stamped. She's got layers and layers, and then books, and then she's got joy. Very simply said, elegant. Books bring me joy. You don't even need the words. You can see it. Isn't that cute? Beautiful. And then this one, I love the use of stickers. I have gotten out of the habit of using stickers, and it's just only been recently that I have decided to start using stickers again. So she put a little sofa there. She's ripped 2 pieces of paper and stacked them on top of one another. Put these beautiful stack of books. Look, that's the best coffee table ever. Isn't that beautiful? Love it, Aixa. Great job, man. For somebody who's never done one before. And then I believe this one was mine. That's why it was separate. This is one that she made for me. Look at the beautiful ribbon in the background. So this is yours truly from Aixa. Look at how she popped that up and layered it, and absolutely stunning with the Beau Creations Cherished Chapters paper. Great job, Aixa. I love them, love them, love them. For somebody brand new to ATCs, I'm not so sure with how pretty these turned out. Okay. Next up, we have somebody in a yellow envelope. Let's see who the winner chicken dinner is. All right. These are from Kristen Root. Okay. Kristen said she had a blast doing these. She had so much fun. Hi, Liz. How are you? She said she had so much fun doing these ATCs that she just couldn't stop. And she actually used playing cards. I love using the playing cards. They are perfect size. And I just want to show you. This was the Icy Snowflakes paper that we had as a special thing for the retreat that we had, the virtual retreat. It was not sold in stores, but it was from Beau Creations. And I can see that she has blinged up the center of those poinsettias and chosen the best spot of that paper to make her ATC with. And she put some glossy accents on it, so it really stands out. So she created layers without actually doing layers. I thought that was pretty incredible. So, and then she also protected her ATCs with these little ATC sleeves. I love these. So here we go again, a beautiful snowflake in the center of that paper, and she just stamped all around to give some of that some of that texture on there. Again, rounded corners, but you don't have to. And she used a playing card. I think she kind of fell in love with our Icy Snowflakes paper. What do you think? Again, Icy Snowflakes, rounded corners. She absolutely chose the most beautiful part of the paper to highlight and simply said, soulful. Isn't that gorgeous? Talk about silver bells, right? Oh my goodness, look how pretty these are. Simply said, distressed edges, playing card, ATC, soulful. That's it. Simply said. Love it. And of course, this paper is absolutely fabulous. So there we go. All right, next up, again, she chose the most beautiful parts of the paper to highlight. Put these back in here so they don't get messed up. She picked the most beautiful part of the paper to highlight. Look at those poinsettias in there. And she put a little bit of twine with a bling. They're so much fun to make on the back of a playing card. Look how gorgeous that is. Kristen, well done. I believe Kristen said this was her first time ever doing ATCs, and she has gone ATC crazy. Never give up hope, this one says. One snowflake out of all those snowflakes can change the world. Isn't that gorgeous? Again, on a playing card, I love that you can get playing cards from a, like from a thrift store, Goodwill, stuff like that. Ones that maybe have lost cards and turn it into something absolutely stunningly beautiful. Kristen, I love them. I told you guys she went crazy. She was only supposed to do 5, but I think she did 15. She absolutely loved doing them. Just breathe. That's all that one says. Simply put, one candle that's lighting the dark. She's got a little brad in it, some sequins, some thread. She's got the candle wick, glossy accented. So there is texture without it even being texture. Look at that. Love it. Kristen, you did amazing. Look at this buck. Oh my goodness. Love the use of the little brads here. The bling on the edges to help highlight and accentuate those corners. And that buck just looks like he's looking, like what's going on. How amazing. Again, this was all from the Icy Snowflakes paper. So Kristen, I know once you got started, you couldn't stop, but these are absolutely stunning. Create your own magic. And look, she's glossied all of that snowflakes there. How beautiful is that? Can y'all see that? Create your own magic. Love these. You should never be afraid to try our swaps, guys. Everybody brings something to the table, and they're all just absolutely gorgeous. Kristen is the ATC queen. I know, I'm telling you, she just had a good time. And if you think about the fact that a deck of playing cards has 52 cards, you can probably get quite a few ATCs. Okay, make someone smile, this one says. Well, Kristen, you absolutely made me smile with these beautiful ATCs. I love the glossy accents that she put on that poinsettia. Right smack dab in the middle is that gorgeous stone. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Kristen, you're a mad woman. I love them. There we go. Those are the beautiful ones from Kristen Root. Well done, Kristen. All right, next up we have Leanne Ricks. Oh, you guys are going to love these. Leanne Ricks likes to do a lot of our journaling. She's also one of our design team members, and she does a lot of journaling, but you can see that Leanne actually stitched the side of hers with a sewing machine. Look at that. How gorgeous is that? So I love, first of all, there's so much to point out here. Do you see all of these little ripped pieces of paper? She distressed the edges of every single one of them, which adds layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. I loved the stitched edge. What a gorgeous, embellishment. And then she put it on the back with her ATC stamp. How gorgeous is that? Number 5 of 6. So there you go. Love that, Leanne. Gorgeous. Look at this one with the Cherished Chapters books here. She's got some real honest to God book pages. Look at those sunglasses. I'm surprised they're not green. Leanne loves green. So I'm surprised those sunglasses are not green. Again, with the stitched, and every single piece that's on there is distressed. That just brings out so much layers, and it just really helps those pieces to stand out. Again, with the glasses, I love these. Totally different pair than this one. Reading list. There's some more Cherished Chapter book stacks. Page, 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 page. All decoupaged kind of flat on there and distressed and sewn. Love, love, love. Leanne, great job. This one says, I can't wait for the next chapter up there in the corner. I can't wait. Look at that tiny little butterfly right there. Chapter 6, she says, with some books on a bookshelf, lots of silver splatter on there, and she absolutely stitched the edge of those. Love these. This is Leanne's kind of signature move, is to distress every piece that goes on there. I love that look. Look at this gorgeous chair here. Doesn't it look like you could just curl up with a cup of coffee, you know, and read? Love them. Yes, I do too, with the Cherished Chapters vintage look. I love it. I love this chair. It looks like I could curl up and throw my legs over the side of that chair with my cup of coffee and just read something all day long. Gorgeous, gorgeous, Leanne. Last and final, it says, and then what happened? Well, I don't know. Let's read the next chapter and find out. So she's got a book here. She's got these due date pieces. Again, highlighted every single one of them and stitched them. I love these, Leanne. Great job. Put her signature on the back of them. And that is another pair of glasses. That's different than the ones that we had earlier. So these are Leanne Rick's ATCs. Love these. Now, you guys might be asking, well, what can I do with these? Well, guess what, guys? These can be on the center of a card with this sentiment. And you've got the highlight of a card right there. You could put them in a scrapbook. You can, you know, just keep them and look at them and be inspired by them. So, Leanne, great job. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Leanne Ricks, also one of our design team members. Leanne, thank you so much for that contribution. We've got, this one says Kristen Root. I don't know, did Kristen do 2 of them? Let's see. Can't get the bag open. Yes, junk journals as well. Yes, you're right, Liz. All right, let's see what these are. Are these Kristen's also? Did she do 2 sets? Yes, she did. Look at these. Okay, a book is a dream you hold in your hand. Again, with the beautiful Cherished Chapters paper and book pages in the back. I love that she did that. You can see that her cards are evolving. Friends are flowers in the garden of life. She's got a layer of book paper and then a layer of books from the Cherished Chapters paper, and then a sentiment again on the back of playing cards that she's found. I love this one. Not all of them have to be landscape. Some of them, I mean, portraits, some of them can be landscape too. And that's what she did with this one. She put the words going landscape, and then the stack of books. She's got a piece of the scrap paper there, and then a stack of books and one of the flowers from the Cherished Chapters collection. Love that. Oh, this one right here was the one that I said, oh, Kristen, this one's really nice. Look at this one. She's put some fabric on there underneath the piece of paper that she cut out from Cherished Chapters. Love the fabric that she's rolled up under there. And then the words in the back, absolutely gorgeous. Let me get this back in the bag. There we go. And then last but not least, so many books, so little time. Oh, let's see. And this one's also in the landscape. The words in the back are, at least, but then you turn it this way to read it. So I like the play there, Kristen. It's a little bit of fun there. You're like, oh, do I turn it this way and have my books on the shelf? Well, I could do that, but then I can't read that, so I got to turn it portrait. Again, on the back of playing cards. Great job, Kristen. I think Kristen is the winner chicken dinner for the number of ATC cards. Love them, Kristen. Thank you so much for putting in 2 submissions. And she kept within the, keep it under the right size because it fits in this bag. So there you go. So gorgeous job, Kristen. Okay. And now Diane Enlow. Woohoo! Diane Enlow. So true story about this box. Diane Enlow and I have sent this box to and from each other for 6 years because she used to send this with her monthly swaps. Uh-oh. What did I just knock over there, guys? I may have just thrown tonight's stuff on the floor. Oh, I knocked over my box. All right, we'll get to it in just a second. Let me see if I can grab my pen, though, before it gets under there. Oh, okay. So we'll have to pick that up in a minute because I'm going to need some of that stuff. but Diane Enlow and I have sent this box back and forth for over 6 years. And I think that's kind of funny. Same tissue paper, same box. It's got so many thousands of miles on this box. I think it's hysterical. But it gets the job done, and we always get our ATCs. Okay, so these are Diane Enlow's. Let me remove the ATCs and move the box so I don't knock anything else off. Oh, Lord. Hi, Connie. How are you? Okay, so Diane has made 3 the same and 2 the same. So she kind of stuck with the same theme so that way everybody could get one that was very similarly made. First thing you notice is that she has kind of like rounded maybe those books. They look like they're actually shaped. I love that idea. And she's put them up on foam dots. She added a little reading list, kind of like a pocket there. She's got a little tag sucked down in there, and I believe these open. Look, this says currently reading from the library of. Isn't that adorkable? So you talk about inventive ATC, guys. Look at that. Unbelievable. You got a little tag, you got a reading list, you got your books, you got a pocket, and all of it in a 2.5 by 3.5 piece. So all 3 of these look exactly the same. And then she used the brown Cherish Chapters paper, again with a little reading list and the tag in the back, and then you can open it. Isn't that just the cutest? Who would have thought that you could make something that opens and closes on an ATC size piece of paper? I mean, I absolutely love that, Diane Enlow. Again, she's blown me out of the water yet again. Love the look, Diane Enlow. Thank you so much. Sorry, you guys. I am cold, so I'm starting to yawn. That's no bueno. Diane Enlow, thank you so much for our beautiful ATCs and for teaching us that you can make something at 2.5 by 3.5 inches, something unexpected and spectacular. I know, beautiful. Okay, now I'm going to put these back in the box so that we can get another 1,000,000 miles on that box. I think I'm going to cry when it has to go back. when it's going to have to be retired. All right. And last but not least, I have Diana Noggle. Okay, so let's see what Diana has here. First and foremost, I noticed that the ATCs are in the beau pocket. I love it. And there is a little added feature that Diana added with hers. And it's one of our beau paper clips. The problem is that they're sitting over there as a sample because they were so beautiful. I put them out for samples. So I will make sure that each one of you gets your little clip that she made for you. So there's your little storage pouch for your ATC made with the beau Creations pocket and also the beau Creations Cherished Chapters paper. And Diana, again, chose Cherished Chapters paper. She's got some cute stickers of two ladies just kind of leaning on that stack of books. What a cute play right there, Diana. And some lace down here at the bottom. Love that. Love, love, love. They go back in the little pocket. I love the pocket with our beau pocket die. All right, the next one. Look at these two ladies. They're kind of like looking at the stack of books like this. I love that. I love that you played with these little characters on your ATC card. She's got a bit of metal here. She's got some torn pages in the background. Love these. Cherished Chapters again in the beau pocket. Now, this one caught my eye right off the bat with that postage stamp, that vintage postage stamp. And then I pull it out and it's got coffee and it says vanilla mocha. Oh, yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about. We got washi tape. We got the beau Cherished Chapters paper. We've got metal undertones. We've got these beautiful vintage ladies and some gorgeous stickers. Never think about my stickers. I always forget the stickers. And Diana, great use of the stickers and the metal. I love that. Of the McCall dress patterns. Yes, Liz, me too. Okay, next up, and she made them all different, guys. I want you to notice that. She's got layers and layers of torn paper. She's got the McCall's ladies again on their stickers, just, you know, having a friendly chat. There you go. Again with the postage stamp. Love it. And the metal undertones. Great job, Diana. Great job. And of course, the pockets are lined with the beau Creations Cherished Chapters paper, which I absolutely love. And last but not least, oh, look at her. She's like, hey, y'all, just sitting back here, having a good time. Metal undertones. Got her with her sticker, just chilling. Got the beau Creations flowers and Cherished Chapters books. Love these, Diana. Great job. And everybody, she gave a little pouch and a paper clip to. So thank you so much, Diana. What did I do with your little bag? There it is. Diana Noggle. Also, one of my design teams members. So Kristen made, I'm absolutely, yeah, Kristen did. Kristen made this one for me. She let me pick it out. So I absolutely loved this one. She used a doily, layers and layers and layers with stickers. I love, love, love. So this is my personal one. I love it, from Kristen. And this one was from Aixa again. So gorgeous job, guys. I think I've got everybody. If I missed yours, please let me know, because that means that I don't know where it is, or you sent it and they did not get here. I kept everything in this bin right here to make sure that we get everybody's return to them. So if I did not show yours, please, please, please let me know. Everybody did a fantastic job on the ATCs this time. We will do this again, except our next swap is going to be ATC coins. Yes, you heard me right. Coins. So we'll give you more information on that when that swap comes up. All right, now, are we ready to get to tonight's topic? First of all, does anybody have any questions about the ATCs? Anybody want to ask anything or ask any questions of the artist that made them before we go and get to tonight's topic? So give me 1 second, you guys, because half of my stuff fell behind the cart here. And I have to make sure that I get it because the stuff that I need is back here. So give me 1 second to get all of it back out. Oh my goodness, it's all down here on the floor. Sorry, guys. A little intermission, if you will. Of course, it's all back here on the floor. Oh my goodness. All right. There we go. My little friend Lauren, who's only 9 years old, made this box for me today, and I absolutely love it. And that's what I knocked over. It had all of my stuff in it. She decided that I needed a little box to put all of my stuff in. So Lauren, thank you so much for this most adorable little box. And I'm sorry that I knocked it on the floor. There we go. All right, I'm hoping that I don't knock it on the floor again. Okay, so thank you. Thank you so much, Lauren. You're such a sweetheart. All right. Oh, there we go. It's over again. Maybe I need to weight the bottom just a little bit, just so it doesn't fall over. There we go. All right. I think my camera moved a little bit, but that's okay. I know I know I'm lucky the camera didn't follow me. At our retreat, it was like creepy like following me. It was awful. Okay, so Diana Noggle called me and she said, Joyce, do you know what these are? And I said, yeah, those are pan pastels. She goes, well, what do I do with them? And I said, well, you know what? That would be a topic for a great broadcast. So tonight I'm going to talk about chalks and pan pastels in particular. And I'm going to show you a couple of different ways that you can use them. Okay. Hopefully, if everything goes well and I don't knock anything else over. Okay. First of all, I want to show you this little guy that I was working on prior to the broadcast. And I want you to see that I have created a background. See the background? And then I stamped it. And I started chalking all of the parts in there. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys that technique first. All right. I have this gorgeous little tag. So let's start out by talking about chalk. What exactly is chalk? Well, chalk is highly pigmented, first of all, and it can be any kind of chalks, whether it's in a stick, whether it's in a pan frame like this. Let me see if I can get this open. So many years ago, Stampin' Up! Had a set of chalks that look like this. And they are so my favorite until I found pan pastels. So these are a group of chalks. It doesn't matter if they're broken like this, because guess what? It's chalk. It'll still work. Okay. So you can use these. You can use pan pastels. And the only difference between those and pan pastels is that these are made into a cake or a pan, meaning this little container that they're in, and they are so highly pressed, and the pigment in these is just absolutely hands down the best pigment. Okay. I love it. All right. First of all, I bet you never knew, and maybe you did, and if you did, great. But if you didn't, I'm going to show you that you can use your pan pastels or your chalks with a stencil. Okay, that's the first thing that I want to show you guys. So grab a sponge dauber, okay, just any sponge dauber, and a paper towel. You'll see why in just a second, because I used blue earlier and I want to just clean that blue off of my dauber. because I'm going to change colors. I'm going to go with a darker color right now, and I'm going to be very gentle in my pan because you can see that I get a lot of chalk on there in a very little amount of time. Okay. And I'm going to rub this chalk into my stencil the exact same way that I would do if it was ink. See that? I'm going to rub it right into my stencil. So if you ever wondered, can I use chalks through a stencil? The answer is absolutely yes. Okay. Now, sometimes you can brush it, but you'll notice that when you brush it, you make it a little bit lighter. So I like to blow. There we go. Sorry about my head getting in the way. I like to blow like that because that way I get a little bit more chalk without having to swipe it with my hands because it will move. The chalk will move. And so I'm just going to make this a little bit darker. Sorry about moving the camera there, guys. And you can see that I'm rubbing it through the stencil with my sponge dauber. See that? Now, what if I want to put a different color? Well, that's simple. Just take your paper towel and your dauber, grab yourself another color. I think I'm going to use a very dark blue. There we go. And I'm going to just go right in over in certain spots with that blue. Look at that, you guys. Isn't that cool? There we go. I'm going to move my stencil. Give it a blow and look at that. Okay. Now, if I move, like if I brush this with that brush that I was just getting ready to use, it will actually come off of there. And since I don't want to do that, I need to spray it first with hairspray. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous, guys? And yes, you heard me correctly. Hairspray or some sort of fixative. Okay. So that is my stencil image. How beautiful is that? I love that. And that was just 2 colors of chalk. That was it. Those 2 colors. And that's what the background was that I created. Could I use a different color on there? Absolutely. But I don't want to because I'm going to now take a stamp. Look at that, guys. Look at that design that chalk left on my mat. Look at that. So easily cleaned off. Just going to take my brush and get the color off of my stencil. So when we go to use it again, it will be there. Okay. So now I'm going to grab my stamp and I'm going to use this little mushroom stamp. Pixie dust. Yes, pixie dust will work. Any kind of, the only reason I don't use pixie dust is because it's, are you talking about pixie spray or pixie dust? I don't know which one she's talking about. Okay. So now I'm just going to take my stamping tool or stamp and I'm just going to ink up my mushroom. There we go. And I am just going to make myself a little bunch of mushrooms. There we go. Look how cute that is. Now I will absolutely have to spray this with something. Pixie spray, yeah. The only reason I don't use pixie spray is because it can be sticky. So I just use the cheapest hairspray that you can find at the Dollar Tree or anywhere. And you just give it a light spray and all of that chalk will stay on there. So, you know, it just really put a sentiment across there. And you can actually color these with the chalk if you want to, like I did on here, or you can use your colored pencils or even a fine brush and do the places in between. Hi, Linda. How are you? All right. So that is number 1. using your chalks with a stencil. How about that? Bet you didn't know that. And if you did, great, then you're up on your chalks. Now let's talk about another way that you can use your chalks. A lot of people know this trick because it is something that has been done for millennia, I think. I've got a piece of white paper here, and I'm going to take a stamp that I have. Let's see here. It's kind of a long flower looking stamp. Here we go. I'm going to get my little stamp tool back here. My mushroom down. All right. Put my stamp on here. All right. And then I'm going to grab my Versamark. Diane's like, oh my hell. I told you, Diana, I was going to blow your mind. I'm going to grab my Versamark that I just freshly re-inked, and I'm going to Versamark this stamp that I have right here. Okay. And I am going to stamp this maybe 3 times. Let me see. There's the second time. And let's do this again. And then maybe the 3rd time. Okay, so there is my Versamark on there. And I don't know if you can see it, but I promise you I have stamped it onto the cardstock. And you can see it kind of shimmer. Let's see if we can get the camera to pick it up. Nope, you can't see it, but guess what? It'll be here in just 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to grab, let's do our brown stems first, okay? And I'm going to take a paintbrush, and you see that I'm going to dab some of that chalk off on my mat. And guess what? I can just lightly tap that in there. And I don't know if you guys are seeing that, but these stems are starting to show up. Do you see that? Look at that. See how it's sticking to the Versamark? Okay. Now, I'm not worried at all about the chalk in places where it doesn't need to be. I'm going to show you how to remedy that in just a moment. So you can see my stems starting to come alive. I'm going to grab a little bit of my green here, same paintbrush. I'm going to go back over some of the stems and just kind of put some of that little bit of green in there, just to highlight some of that. And you can see how this is coming together. And then just for giggles, let's do a pink metallic. This pink right here is a metallic. You want to make sure that your brush is clean. Just run it, on a paper towel. And then you can come in here and just dot in those flowers. Do you see that? And like I said, don't worry about that chalk getting in places that it shouldn't get. Okay. You don't want to be overly, awful with it, but you do want to, just tap it in or brush it in, and no worries about it not being on there. Okay. You can absolutely go over the image, and I'll show you in a minute how we're going to fix that. Okay. Just in case, you're a sloppy chalker, it's okay. Look at that, guys. Look how beautiful and soft that is. Look at that. Can y'all see that? Okay. Now, I have my little brush here, and my first is going to be a light dusting right over that chalk to see if I can brush some of it off. If I can't, I'm going to take my handy dandy little electric eraser, and I'm going to make sure that it doesn't have anything on it. Okay, if you don't have a handy dandy little eraser to get this chalk off of here, or if it smears like mine is doing right now, you know, if it happens to have something on it, or it's not a you know, good. I think my battery is starting to go dead. So if you don't have one of these, that's fine and dandy. Oops, I see a piece that I did not get. We want that chalked in there. You know what I just thought about? Just for you guys, I'm going to go back over that with a little bit of dark purple, just to show you kind of how that might blend in. There we go. Just add a little bit of that dark purple and watch. Okay. So no worries about the mess. I'm going to show you. You can do one of two things. You can grab one of these white erasers that we sell at beau. These are not rubber. They are silicone or polymer, sorry. And you can see that you can just erase the chalk from around where it's, you know, sitting in. I sometimes don't like to do that just because it gives me lines. And you'll see what I mean here in a second. Do you see where you can see everywhere I've erased? Because, you know, this cardstock does have chalk on it. So there we go. So you can do that for sure. But my favorite method is right here. This is called a kneaded, like you knead dough, a kneaded eraser. If I can get it open. They are a putty-like substance. And you can find them in any art store just about. And you just knead it like this. Okay. And then all you do is you just come in here and you just pick this up just like that. See how it's picking it up on the eraser? And then you just do like this. And then you're going to come in here and pick that up, all of that extra chalk. Okay. This is my absolute favorite method for cleaning up chalk, is the kneaded eraser. And it doesn't hurt your image. It does not hurt the image, but you do have to keep it covered because over time it'll dry out in a hard ball. And you can see that since I've used the kneaded eraser, it makes this eraser non-functional. See that? See how it smeared it? But that is one way of using your chalks, is with Versamark. Now you'll see that once the Versamark is all used up, meaning that it's dry, it will no longer give you a very clear outline. So, you know, you have to be careful with the Versamark, but it is a great way to do your chalk. So Versamark is a great way of creating a image with your stamps. So let's talk about that in just 1 second because I want to show you something else. All right, now suppose that you want to create a very nice background. Let's say you're going to stamp on it, okay? Again, you're going to clean your dauber off. And I just wipe it on a paper towel, you know, just so I can get some of that color out. I'm going to put my two colors back. And I'm going to go with a peach. I'm going to go with the pink. And how about a pretty purple? I want to do purple, peach, pink, and purple. Why not? Okay, so you're going to take your sponge dauber or a big paintbrush or, you know, something that's going to get, you could even have different sponge daubers if you want to. But I don't find that it's necessary because once I pick up that new color on my sponge dauber, I don't have a problem with the other color that it was on, that was on there. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of make myself a background here. Okay, and I'm just going to rub that color into the cardstock. Okay, just rub it into the cardstock. Then I'm going to take my brush and just gently brush the excess off of there. Okay, And if I want to go back over and make it a little bit darker, I just need to put a little more pressure on my sponge dauber and get that chalk into my paper, into my cardstock. So you can see what a difference that made just by rubbing it a little bit harder into my cardstock. See that? All right, again, wipe off your sponge dauber. Try to get off most of the chalk so that you're not contaminating your next one, especially as we go lighter. I'm going to grab this metallic peach right here, and I'm going to come into this purple, and I'm going to blend right over top of the purple. See that? I love blending into the other color. Look at that. There we go. How cool is this, you guys? Isn't this cool? Now wait until you see what we're going to do with it. All right, now we're going into the pink. So we need a light sponge dauber. Here we go. We're going to start off and we're going to blend into the peach. And I know my paper is bigger than what I needed, but that's okay because I may end up cutting some of it down. Well, I will end up cutting some of it down. And look at that. What a gorgeous blend that we just got. Let me bring this up to the camera so you guys can see that. How beautiful is that? See, and because this is a, because it's a sparkly metallic kind of pigment, this particular one is, you can pick up the shine on it, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. And again, I'm just rubbing some of that pigment into my color there. Okay. Now, could we stamp it with Versamark? Yes. Let me show you what happens when we do that. It is one of the most favorite techniques that I use. I'm going to put my stamp, and I happen to be using a, let's see, I'm going to do it right there. A stamp positioner. Okay, let's see. There we go. I'm going to pick it up. And already you can see that it has kind of lifted up my image off of my chalk. So I'm going to take the Versamark and I'm going to stamp my image with the Versamark. And I need to make sure, because we've already got a little bit of the image there. If I actually had put this on the positioner, it would have been perfect, but we're just going to do the best we can. All right, so I'm going to stamp this. Okay. And now watch what happens. So you see, I pulled up that chalk, right? I've pulled up the chalk from that stamp. See it right there? Now you could put embossing powder on this if you wanted to, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to add a dark color of chalk, like purple. No, maybe we'll do some blue. Yeah, we'll do some blue. Or how about some bronze? Let's do some bronze. I think that will be beautiful. Okay, so I have my bronze here. And because that's Versamark, I can take my brush and just pat in that bronze right on top of those colors that I already have on there. And my image just shows up crystal clear. People are going to wonder, how did you do that? How did you get that bronze image in that color there? Isn't that crazy? There we go. And I'm just adding some of that color in there. Rubbing just gently. And then I can take my brush here and just look at that. How gorgeous is that, you guys? And now you're going to take your trimmer and you're going to cut that down, and you're going to put a sentiment on there, and you're going to adhere it to your card base. All right, so we're going to keep that in the center, and I'm going to cut some of that off here so that we aren't seeing that. All right, let's see. All right, so we need to make that 4 inches, or actually 3 3/4, because we're going to be mounting that image. All right, there we go. So we've got our image. Let's make it the right length. These make great strips for other things. Connie's like, this is gorgeous. Thank you, Connie. All right, there we go. So now I can mount that on just about any color I want. But I find that black shows up my chalk better than any other color. I don't know why. Maybe because it's so vibrant, but I'm going to take a piece of paper that's 4 by 5 1/4. 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, we're going to need that in just a second. Okay, I've got my black paper here. Look at that, you guys. How gorgeous is that? Okay. And again, I would set this with hairspray, some sort of hairspray, Aquanet, or, you know, whatever is the cheapest brand of hairspray that you can find, because I promise you, the cheaper, the better. Okay. And then I'm just going to, because I haven't used a fixative on it just yet. And then I can put that on my card with a sentiment, which happens to be in the stamp set. Nope, there is none in the stamp set, so I'll have to find one. How about one that says, thinking of you? There we go. Thinking of you. So how about that? You can use your chalks and Versamark in one go. Okay. So I've got the sentiment, thinking of you. There we go. And what a gorgeous card that just made. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. There you go. Okay. So Diana, have I given you at least 2 ideas now for your chalks? How cool is that? Now, remember, when I put the ink down, the Versamark, I could have done that in embossing powders. So just because you make the background with chalks doesn't mean that you can't use embossing powder on that. So there you go. Okay. Now, let me also show you what happens when you use chalk with black paper, because the black paper is really super cool, especially when you're using the metallic chalks. Okay, so again, I'm going to use my Versamark, because that definitely, if you use a pigment ink like the silver or gold that I currently have on my stamp, if you use, you know, that kind of thing, you can absolutely use that to stick the chalk down. Anything that's sticky, okay? Anything that gives you a sticky image. Okay, so there's our Versamark. Okay, and now I'm going to get my gold metallic. Okay, here's my gold. Maybe I'll use a little bit of copper and a little bit of silver. How about that? Just because I can. Why not? Okay. All right, so let's see. Let's go gold first. I might just kind of go through here like this, you know, kind of at an angle. Okay, there we go. That's my gold. Let me get some silver. Okay, maybe a little bit up here. And then we're going to get our copper. Filling in some of those other areas there. All right. Look at that, you guys. Better than foiling, easier to do, definitely gives you a very pretty result, and is very shiny. You know, if you want to go ahead and put in another layer, put in another layer. It's okay. Just making it a little bit shinier. Look at that. How gorgeous. Isn't that beautiful? Guess what? Think of how you can zhuzh up your journal pages and your cards and things like that. One last way that I want to show you that I use my chalks is I like to take an image that I have cut out. Okay, it's not just about the Versamark or you know, the stamping and stuff like that, although that is a big part of it. It's not necessarily the only thing. Let me get all this chalk off my mat so that it doesn't, it just takes a very nice, thick, you know, like puffy brush, and that chalk just comes right off of everything until you set it with the hairspray. Okay, so last but not least, this is my favorite way of using my chalks, and that is to simply take a stamp. Okay, let me grab one of my tags here. Okay, to just grab one of my stamps and do a black outline. I love. Hi, Melinda, how are you? I didn't see you come on. Thank you for joining us. All right, so there is my image with just black VersaFine. Okay, I'm going to take my tag here, and I'm just going to make sure that this is stamped on here really well. Okay, and this is VersaFine ink. All right, that's going to take a minute for that to set. I'm going to take my little sponge foamy things here. And just for the sake of time, I'm going to heat set that black because it is on a shiny paper. And if I tried to do anything to it right now, that black would smear. Bobby asked a great question. Is there a difference between pan pastels and chalk squares? Yes, there is. I just need to dry this or else we'll never get it done tonight. I might just go ahead and stamp that image on a piece of paper because I have a sneaky suspicion that that is not going to dry very well because it is on that shiny tag. So let me just do that image again. So Bobby asked, is there a difference between pan pastels and squares of chalk? And the answer is yes, Bobby. Some of the chalks pans that you use, like from Stampin' Up and other companies, and maybe not Stampin' Up necessarily, you know, I don't want to pick on them, but you know, companies that you can get student grade chalks from. The problem is that the pan pastels are very soft, highly pressed chalk, so you get more pigment and ease of use from that chalk than you do from say the sticks, or because the more binder, meaning the harder the chalk is, the more binder that it has in it. So the pan pastels are a highly refined artist quality chalk. So that makes it very easy to use and very, it's almost creamy. I don't know how to explain it, but it's almost creamy. Would I recommend that you go out and buy pan pastels if you don't have them? Well, you know, depends on how good of a quality you want. There is a big difference between student quality and artist quality. Okay, there we go. So I just hit it with the heat tool, okay? And then I can take my colors, whatever colors I'm going to be using. So I'm going to use my dark green, my lighter green, obviously for my leaves. And then what do you say we do purples for our leaves? Only because I don't have very many other colors. Okay, so we'll use these four. I'm going to use my little things here, my little like makeup appliers. And that's just because I want to be able to put this chalk down in very specific places. And you can see it does not take much of this chalk to get the job done. See that? So I can come in here with my second one, and I'm just going to go over that. And I'm essentially painting with my chalks. See that? And I am just going in here. You could use a paintbrush if you want to. You could use these. I'm going to come in there with the kneaded eraser when I'm done and just go over that. So I'm not trying to be, too careful, but I don't want to make a mess either, because guess what? I'm the one that's going to have to clean it up. So, I don't want to be really crazy with that, because I don't want to have to clean up, all of that mess. So let's go in here with some dark purple. I'm going to use my paintbrush again, because again, I want some very specific areas to have some of that dark. And that's usually the areas that the artist says, this is a thick line because that's what I wanted it. And if you were using Copics or something of that nature, or Olos, you would probably be using your darkest marker right now. So just to give you a little reference, like how you would use that. So again, I blow it instead of rubbing it, because I don't want to smear my chalk, because until I set it with a fixative, it's going to be highly mobile. Okay. And I don't want it to go anywhere. So far, so good. No big, huge mistakes that I have to, get. Okay. I'm going to come in here with my light chalk, and I'm going to do some blending of those colors. You almost can't really see that light chalk, but you will. Okay. Now watch this. Did you know that you can actually take some of this chalk and blend it to get a third color? Look at that. I'm going to blend these two together to get myself a middle color, so that I can come in here and just add a little bit of shading on here. Now, if I lose my lines, I can come back in here with the dark and just put it back in if that's what I want to do. Okay, it's up to you. You are the artist. There we go. Just tapping that in there. Look how gorgeous that is, you guys. And I know we've kind of lost our black lines there for a minute, but you'll see in a second. Okay, gonna blow that off, get that. And then I'm gonna grab my yellow. Tap some of that yellow in there. in the center of our flowers. Okay, gorgeous. Now, I'm going to take a clean one of these, and I'm just going to come in here on top of my lines and just ever so gently wipe that chalk off. And you'll see that as I do that, it kind of also brings back our shaded areas. See that? It's almost taking it down to the dark areas of the purple. Look at that. How beautiful is that, you guys? I mean, seriously. Seriously. Now, if you want to, and you're really, 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 really motivated, I mean, really motivated, take some of that light blue chalk that you have or may not have and come in here and just add some blue around those flowers to make that purple really stand out. And if you have your brush, you can just kind of smear that in like that. Okay, so you can see that I'm just moving some of that chalk around the flowers. There we go. And it just gives it a little bit. Now I'm going to come in here with my finger, make sure my finger is clean. And I'm going to just rub that in to my cardstock. And just like that, we have given our card a very pretty background that you can look at that. I don't know if you guys can see that blue, but it's there. It's so beautiful. The chalks are a very light medium. It's not something that's going to dominate like your markers will, you know. It's very, very light and airy and wispy, you know. And if you wanted to come back in there, and I'm just like, I like these parts right here to be bold, the ones that the artist said, you know what, these stamps, I really want these areas to show up. That's the areas that they made really, really dark. So I feel like that I'm doing the stamp a disjustice if I don't do what the artist kind of wanted me to do with that, because they wouldn't have made those dark lines if they didn't want to. Look at how pretty that is. And then you just stamp it again with your thinking of you or thank you or whatever you want to stamp it with. And voila, you have a beautiful card. And of course, I do not have a single stinking block to use. Oh, yes, I do. There we go. Because I can't find my little thing. There we go. My thinking of you stamp. Okay, there we go. Put it in my black ink. And look at what a beautiful card that made. Okay. Just absolutely gorgeous. So Diana, I hope that I have given you some ideas of what to do with your pan pastels. I have one more thing that I want to show you guys, and then we are done ski. Okay. I know I told you we'd be a little bit longer tonight, and that's because I wanted to make sure we did our ATC swaps. I'm going to take a little bit off the bottom. There we go. And 5 1/4. Yep, 5 1/4. Okay, so that is my 5 1/4 by 4. Yep. Nope, 3 3/4. So I need to go 5. Sorry. Put a couple couple of gems on there. Oh my gosh, how beautiful would that be? Look at that. So you know what I want to know? I want to know who's going to win this card this evening. So we'll have to see that. So make sure you put your BoQ Live hashtag in, you guys, so that you can be the winner chicken dinner tonight of one of these beautiful cards. And of course, I will put the fixative on it so your chalk doesn't fall out in your envelope. Craft Designs by Nima. Yes, hi Nima, how are you? All right, there we go. Okay, and I see I got a little bit of chalk there from my mat. And if it's not something that I want, go ahead and grab your kneaded eraser or your blue eraser and just, there's my kneaded eraser. Just grab your kneaded eraser right here and just kind of pick that up, and that is it. So let me cut off this piece here. Have you ever done that and then your card is like too small, you know? So that's what I have done. So I'm just going to even it up so that we have even on all sides, because that will drive me nuts. I don't know about you guys, but it'll drive me nuts. And then there you go. There is your card all done in beautiful chalks. So, all right. So on black, they look great. Create your own background and use it as a pseudo embossing powder, or just paint with them, just like you would if it was any other card. So there we go. There are 3 different ways to use your pan pastels. One other way that you can use them is with your die cuts. All right, let's say you want to make those pink little rosy cheeks on your bunny rabbits for Easter. Well, just take your little chalk brush here, dip it in your light pink, and just barely rub it on like that, and it's going to be fine. You guys will see. It'll be absolutely beautiful. Okay, so I have orange here, and I'm going to use my orange to make this orange. This was a die that I got this weekend at the expo. And actually, I wish that I could make the lemon because I have more yellows than orange. This is going to be a peachy orange, but it's okay. Well, maybe this will be a Georgia peach, you guys. So I'm going to just take this and color my orange with it. Okay, let's say that I'm making this orange and I want it to be kind of muted and light. Well, I am going to color my whole die cut with that orange. All right, so there we go. Now, once it sets in, you see that most of my color came off of that when I brushed it. Well, now that you've put a first layer on, come back in here and really dig that chalk into your paper, okay? Now that you've put that first layer on, it's going to sit more on the other chalk than it will into the paper. So it really makes a difference in the color density. There you go. Now see how much darker that was? So now I have this piece that's going to go on my orange, and this piece is going to have to be kind of a whitish gray. So I'm thinking this will be kind of my color. I'm going to actually use a smaller brush. Okay, so this is kind of a grayish color, and I'm just going to rub it on to, this is the part of the orange that's kind of whitey color, you know, but I'm going to put that kind of grayish tone on top of there, and it's going to make those pieces come out beautifully. All right, so then this piece is going to fit gorgeous right on top of there. Let me wipe off my fingertips. Sorry for the length tonight, guys, but we wanted to make sure we got our ATC swaps in there. So if you are wondering why we're running a little bit late tonight, that is why. We did our ATC swap and really didn't start the lesson until 7:40. So I want to make sure that you guys get your full tutorial tonight. And you can thank Diana Noggle because she wanted to know what you use pan pastels for. So Diana, I hope that gives you an idea of just how versatile pan pastels can be. All right, so I see this little dimple right here in my orange, and there's a little dimple right there. And I'm just going to stick that down on there. And even though I took the time to put this on double-sided adhesive because it is chalk, it's not wanting to stick very well, but that's okay. You get the hint. There you go. Look at how beautiful that can be. See? So, lots of different ways to use your pan pastels. And guys, resist the temptation to blow that off because that's all good usable chalk. So don't do that. And then the other wonderful thing about pan pastels is that they store one on top of the other like this. So you just screw them on top of one another and you can have some nice stacks of chalks, and you can put them in whatever order you want. They're very portable. Gosh, that would make a very pretty grapefruit on top of there, wouldn't it? Oh my goodness. I didn't think about that until just now. So, and if you are a paper flower artist like I am, this chalk is one of those things that I cannot live without when I'm doing my flowers. So there you go, guys. I hope that I have shed some light on chalks for you guys today. I'm just going to clean up a little bit of this mess here so I don't have chalk everywhere as we wrap up and give our beau live gift away. All right, so let's see. We got our chalks on black. We've colored our die cuts. There we go. We have used our regular black stamp and colored in the pieces. We used our pan pastels to create our background and then actually reverse did the image because that actually took away the chalk, but leaving the Versamark on there. And we were able to chalk over with that copper chalk. And that's what made that beautiful card. And I guess that is, oh, and then we used our stencils to create a background for our chalks as well. So there you go. Thank you so much, Teresa. So there you go, guys. I hope that it helps you use your chalks a little bit better. What do you think? Are you going to give it a try, or are you going to still be afraid to do it? Tell me what you think. All right. I'm going to add to state. I'm going to give you guys just a second to make sure that you put your comments on here. Put your beau live if you have not done so. Because once I start the little ticker, that's it. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right, are we ready? Let's add this window to the stage. There we go. And we are going to start. There's 17 entries and 20 people watching. So if you have not put your beau live in, you need to do that. Hashtag beau live. And I'm going to draw in a couple of minutes. Okay. Everybody ready? There we go. Let's see who the winner chicken dinner is. Let's see. Joanne Adams. Yay, Joanne, congratulations. Winner, chicken dinner. Joanne, you'll have to tell me whether or not this card is going to wait until the next time or if you want me to mail it to Canada. It should just be a regular postage stamp. All right, Joanne, tell me which card it was that you would like, my friend. And congratulations on the winner chicken dinner. Yay! I'm going to dig out my pastels. I hope so. I hope that I have inspired you guys to use your pastels. So Joanne, let me know which one of these you want. We still have one more to give away, you guys, so I might have to draw again. So Joanne, go ahead and pick which card you want, my friend, and then we're going to draw again. Oh, Joanne says tomorrow. Okay, can you tell me which one you want, and we'll pick the other one. So let's draw again and see who's going to win the second one, okay? Let's see here. Let us draw again because we've got another one. Here we go. Let's see who's going to win the second one. Liz Blanco. Woo! Liz, congratulations. So Liz, you will pick from either one of these cards, whichever one Joanne did not get, you're going to get. So congratulations. And I don't have to mail it to you because you'll be here on Saturday. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you all had a wonderful evening, and thank you for letting me share this with you. And Diana, thank you so much for asking me to do this, okay? If you guys have any suggestions that you'd like me to do, every Tuesday night at 7, we're here together. So you might as well let me know, and maybe it might be an idea for one of our lives. So thank you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. Stay crafty, stay creative, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.